This is my first live ever on YouTube. I'm excited. Yeah, I wanted to get back into the kind of like the daily vlogging, and it's been a while, and I'm traveling, so I don't have like all the necessary equipment here to be able to do that. My phone is being held up by something, so hopefully it doesn't like fall over. But anyway, I feel like exploring this idea of the boundaries of the self in this video. I think it's important too because I want to explore a theme that I've dealt with, that I've become aware of throughout my entire life. One that, by the way, if you can hear any background noise, I apologize. There's a dishwasher running literally right over there. So, yeah, people are very interesting. There's a theme that I feel like I've been dealing with throughout my entire life growing up, and that theme is the energy is resistance. That theme is trying to change people. But it's not only been something that I've received, it's also been an energy that I've kind of like projected out onto people as well. I know that I've talked about this with my sweetheart. It's very interesting because I'm very fascinated by this idea that like people want you to change for them, right? They do, and then it's like there's like this laziness in finding the right people instead of, yeah, so there's this sense of laziness in finding the right people or the right person, and because of that laziness you kind of just go and this person comes into your life or that person whether it's a partner or a friend, there's this energy of change, right? And it's just like it's weird. It creates a lot of resistance. When I tell you that people don't actually want to change, I mean people do not actually want to change. They don't. In case that was confused at all, people do not want to change for you. They don't want to change for anyone. The only reason that they're even considering doing it is because at some point in their lives, they were instilled with this belief that the world, being their parents, didn't like them. So therefore, they're like, okay, well, I guess in order to get people to like me, I have to shapeshift. I have to be this, that, or the other for people. And it's fucking absurd. It's gross. It's disgusting. It's a fucking travesty of humanness. We're not meant to conform to these ideas that people have for us. We're not. And it's absurd to think that we should, because we shouldn't. There are the reason why I want to explore boundaries here is because in this pursuit of people trying to change other people or people simply changing for other people is because it's a complete fucking violation of the boundaries of the self, where the self begins and where the self ends. What are the characteristics within the self for every individual that they wish to pursue? And what I'm talking about here is sacrificing literally all of that. So the sacrificing of the self to please other people, people pleasing, codependency, all that shit. It's gross. It's gross. It's really weird. It's nasty. And it's like, there are many different things that people, there are many different reasons that people go about that pursuit, that path. And, some of them you could look at as comfort, right? Familiarity. Maybe at some point in your life earlier on, you were abandoned, right? And so that abandonment led you to believe, okay, well, there's clearly something wrong with me. So I just have to, the world doesn't like me because I inherently suck shit and I am inherently defective, and so therefore I need to be other than who I am. And then that's how this whole thing fucking unravels and just spirals out. Um, I urge becoming disinterested. Not just disinterested. I urge becoming fucking utterly disgusted by anybody that wants you to be anyone other than who you are. And I've had plenty of experience with this growing up. For me personally, this was something that kind of like shaped there we go, shaped the first at least 2 decades of my life. There were many things that happened earlier on in my life that kind of led to this just kind of abandoning of myself, this kind of neglect of myself. And I can tell you right now, this does not do anything beneficial for anyone. There's only one person out there that it is actually worth worrying about losing, and that is yourself. Because, listen, in trying to be someone for someone else, you will most definitely lose yourself. You will. Because then you'll be like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can be that. Yeah, I can be that. And that's just, it's gross. So instead of, being all over here and all over in everywhere else, bring all of your energy back to yourself and center with you, center in you who you are, because that's how this works. There was something else that I wanted to talk about, but I forgot what it was. Anyway, I'll just keep exploring this. Yeah, so just kind of like, being you is the important thing here, and a lot of people might say, wait, I think I was just remembering what it was I was going to talk about. I think I was just going to say, I think it was in regards to abandonment. When you're abandoned in life, you learn to abandon yourself because you just think that there's something inherently wrong with you. So you continue to sacrifice yourself, and you continue to put others before yourself. And that is just a downward spiral of losing yourself like crazy, like over and over again, like in many different ways. And that will sincerely mess you up. Sincerely mess you up. So if you can, like, just... It's funny that I'm saying if you can, like... And the reason why it's so funny that I'm saying that is because here I am thinking about this idea of if you can, like, be this way or that way, just like, turn it this way, just flip it over that way, just don't smile. Can you not be angry? Just, come on, like, stop crying. Stop crying. I do not like your confrontations. If you're going to be like that, go over, like, you'll come to realize that people just don't want you as you are, but it's usually more so, I would argue, like 99.99% of the time, just projections of their own bullshit onto you, which then you end up mistaking as your own shit. And it really fucks you up because you have a hard time telling the difference between their shit and your shit, and you end up taking on their shit, and you end up carrying their shit, mistaking it as your shit, and it's just like, oh, what the fuck? So, like, just kind of ejecting from needing to, like, oh, what the fuck? Like, don't worry about it. All of your energy back to yourself. That's what I'm trying to get here. Don't ever sacrifice yourself, the boundaries of yourself. If you do not want to do something, don't do something. If you don't like something, don't pretend like you do. It's so interesting. It's so interesting. And excuse me. Just kind of like, it's interesting because when you explore how deep boundaries go, And here's something, by the way, here's something that I've been learning a lot recently. If you go into someone's house, right, and how you express yourself is a very specific way, and it is in no way disrespectful to other people. By the way, your boundaries are not disrespectful. The boundaries of self that you carry are not disrespectful. If you decide that you want to say, it is a beautiful fucking day outside, your choice. No one gets to tell you not to do it. In fact, other people's pursuit in telling you not to do it is a boundary violation from them to you. Yeah. So, if you can kind of like step into the energy of not giving a fuck, right? That changes the dynamics of everything. Now, the challenging thing here is that a lot of people look at this and they're like, oh, but it doesn't work that way. They're usually thinking from a standpoint of traditionality. Of you can't just go into someone's house and, say this, that, and the other. Listen, I'm not asking you to go to the person and be like, fuck you. No. I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with looking out the window in someone's house and being like, wow, it is a beautiful fucking day outside. I get that not everyone likes the word fuck, but guess what? If it's part of your vocabulary, nobody gets to tell you not to say it. Especially if it's just a matter of self-expression. Again, boundaries of the self, how you decide to express yourself. That's what this stuff is. And a lot of people out there are trying to come into your life and rip you the fuck out of that stuff when it's not okay to do that. It's not okay to do that at all. Which is very interesting, and I'm actually happy I'm talking about this now. I'm happy I'm exploring it. The reason why I'm happy I'm exploring it is because I have dealt with this firsthand, and I've actually been blinded by this idea that I might be wrong, but it's like, well, I'm not wrong. And I learned that I wasn't wrong because I talked to a professional. I talked to my psychologist about it, and he was like, yeah, actually, that person or those other people, they were violating your boundary. And when I realized like what was going on, I was like, oh, what the fuck? So the boundaries of the self, how you authentically express yourself. I'm not asking you to go up to someone and just be like, fuck you, go fuck you. Like, no. The boundaries of the boundaries of the self, how you authentically display and express yourself, that is entirely your choosing. And if you have a hard time pursuing that, it's likely because you've learned that you suck shit, that you're defective, that you are inherently defective, and that's likely because something along the lines of abandonment, which planted this seed of an idea in your head that you are defective, that the world doesn't like you. Again, the world being your parents. Because that's your first introduction to this experience of life, and they shape your perspectives regarding all of this stuff. No, sit entirely within your frame, your authentic frame, your boundaries. Know where the fuck you begin, know where the fuck you end. Cut that shit the fuck off. Don't get sucked into anyone else's shit. See it for what it is, but just, sip your fucking coffee or tea from afar and be like, wow. It's just kind of how it works. But if you want to have any sense of grounding in life, any sense of, feeling of home, really be with yourself. And do not sacrifice your sense of self. Do not sacrifice yourself for others. Don't do it. It doesn't matter if they want you to say this or not say this or believe this or not believe. No. Listen, there is nothing wrong with you, but a whole lot of things happened to you, and that made you the way that you are. And understanding that and seeing that clearly is what can really be beneficial for you in helping you move forward with a meaningful, fulfilling, and very aware, self-aware life. That's just how this stuff works. Seeing everything clearly. Putting yourself first, which I know is hard for a lot of people, including myself for many years, and many people that I know. It's not a selfish thing to do. It's actually a very selfless thing to do because you cannot help other people until you help yourself. You cannot you cannot do anything for anyone else until you do for yourself. Put yourself first, period. Yeah, that's it. So as I'm traveling, I'm just going to do lives because I don't have the equipment required to be able to like actually shoot a video, edit it, upload all that stuff. So yeah, we'll just take this route for now. Thanks for watching.